The desperate call. The crystalline halls of the Krillian flagship Eternal Morpheus hummed with a sound that had not been heard in over 3 centuries, the sound of fear. Ambassador Zeth stood before the great viewing portal, watching the blue-white marble of Earth turn slowly in the void. His form, normally fluid and ever-changing like liquid silver, remained locked in his current humanoid shape. The curse that was destroying his people had taken even his ability to shift. Behind him, his aide Kira approached with careful steps. She too was trapped in solid form, her once beautiful cascade of shifting colors now fixed in pale blue crystal. Ambassador, are you certain about this decision? The humans, they are from a Class X death world. The galactic database lists them as biologically impossible. Zeth's laugh was bitter, echoing through his crystalline throat. Impossible, yes. That is exactly what we need now. He turned from the viewport, his movements stiff and unnatural. 3 months ago, he could have flowed like water through the ship's corridors. Now he walked like the other solid species he had once pitied. The Krillian Empire had ruled 200 star systems for 5,000 years. They were masters of biotechnology and energy manipulation, beings who could reshape their forms at will, communicate through pure thought, and live for millennia. They had been gods among the stars, and other species had either worshipped them or fled from them. Then came the stillness. It started in the outer colonies, reports of Krillians suddenly unable to shift their forms, their telepathic abilities fading, their energy manipulation failing. The plague spread through their mental network faster than their ships could travel. Within 2 years, it had reached the core worlds. Within 3, it was everywhere. Their greatest scientists couldn't understand it. Their most advanced biotechnology couldn't cure it. Their energy masters couldn't purge it. The proud Krillian Empire was dying, and they had no idea why. The medical bay reports 47 more cases of complete crystallization today, Kira said quietly. Total system shutdown. They're not dead, but they're not alive either. Just frozen. Zeth nodded grimly. Complete crystallization was the final stage of the stillness. The victim's form would lock permanently into crystal, their consciousness trapped but aware. It was a fate worse than death, and it was claiming thousands of Krillians every day. That's why we're here, Zeth said, looking back at Earth, the impossible planet with its impossible children. The research had taken months. Every database, every scientific archive, every piece of xenobiological data the Empire had collected over millennia. Most worlds were rated Class I through VI for habitability and biological diversity. A few extreme worlds earned Class VI or VI ratings, but Earth was rated Class AX, biological impossibility. The planet was a nightmare of extreme weather, crushing gravity, toxic atmosphere, deadly radiation, and biological chaos. Temperatures ranged from subarctic to desert extremes. The surface was constantly bombarded by cosmic radiation. The atmospheric pressure alone would crush most species, and the oxygen levels were toxic to most life forms. And yet, somehow, it teemed with life. Not just simple organisms clinging to existence, but complex ecosystems with millions of species. And at the top of this biological madness were the humans, bipedal mammals who had not only survived this death world, but had thrived on it. Their physiology makes no sense, Kira said, reading from her data tablet. Dense bone structure to handle the gravity, multiple redundant organ systems, immune systems that can adapt to almost any pathogen. They can survive in environments that would kill most species within minutes. And they're remarkably resilient mentally as well, Zeth added. Their psychological profiles show an ability to endure and overcome trauma that would shatter most minds. They call it mental toughness or grit. The communication array chimed softly. Ambassador, we're receiving a response from the human authorities. They're willing to meet with us. Zeth felt something he hadn't experienced in months. Hope. Patch me through to their leaders. The hologram that appeared before him was unlike anything in the galactic community. The human was small by galactic standards, with dark skin and graying hair pulled back in a simple style. Her clothing was utilitarian, her bearing confident but not arrogant. Dr. Sarah Chen, the biophile raid, Chief of Xenobiology for the United Earth Defense Initiative. Ambassador Zeth, she said in clear, precise galactic standard, I've reviewed your initial transmission. You're asking for medical assistance for what you describe as a species-wide plague. Dr. Chen, Zeth replied, fighting to keep the desperation from his voice. My people are dying. We have exhausted every resource at our disposal. You and your species represent our last hope. Dr. Chen studied him through the hologram. I'll be direct, Ambassador. According to our databases, the Krillian Empire has technology centuries ahead of ours. Your biotechnology alone could revolutionize medicine on Earth. Why would you come to us for help? Zeth was quiet for a long moment. Pride was a luxury his people could no longer afford. Because, Dr. Chen, sometimes the most advanced hammer cannot accomplish what a simple tool can. Your species has something ours has never possessed: the ability to adapt and survive against impossible odds. Our preliminary scans of your plague are interesting, Dr. Chen continued. It appears to be attacking your shape-shifting abilities at the genetic level. But there's something else, something our computers flagged as familiar. Familiar? Kira stepped forward. How could it be familiar to your species? Dr. Chen's expression grew serious. Because we've seen similar patterns before. In our own history, Dr. Zeth, I believe your plague isn't a natural disease at all. I think it's a bioweapon. And if I'm right, then humanity might indeed be able to help you. The meeting was arranged for the following day at Earth's orbital station Alpha. Zeth had never felt more nervous in his 500 years of life. As their shuttle approached the human station, he marveled at the engineering. It wasn't elegant like Krillian architecture, nor was it the flowing organic curves preferred by most galactic species. It was brutal, functional, and somehow beautiful in its stark efficiency. It looks like it was built to survive a war, Kira observed. Everything humans build is designed to survive a war, Zeth replied. That's what makes them who they are. The docking bay was a testament to human practicality, clean, well-lit, and filled with equipment that looked both advanced and incredibly durable. The humans who greeted them were equally impressive, not in their size or strength, which were average by galactic standards, but in their bearing. They moved with confidence and purpose, their eyes alert and calculating. Dr. Chen approached them with two companions, a tall, dark-skinned man introduced as Dr. Marcus Webb, a specialist in infectious diseases, and a smaller Asian woman named Dr. Lisa Park, a geneticist. All three humans wore simple uniforms bearing the symbol of Earth's medical corps. Welcome to Station Alpha, Dr. Chen said. I hope you don't mind, but we've prepared a sterile environment for our meeting. We don't want to risk contamination in either direction. The sterile meeting room was another example of human engineering, functional, efficient, and designed with multiple redundancies. As they settled around the conference table, Dr. Chen activated a holographic display. We've spent the last 18 hours analyzing the biological samples you transmitted, she began. Dr. Webb, would you like to explain what we found? Dr. Webb leaned forward, his expression grave. Ambassador, your plague isn't a plague at all. It's a weapon. Specifically, it's a retrovirus designed to rewrite your genetic code. The targeting is incredibly precise. It's designed specifically for Krillian biology. Zeth felt his crystalline form grow cold. A weapon? But who would create such a thing? And why? That's where it gets interesting, Dr. Park added. The bioweapon contains genetic markers that match samples we found in our own archaeological records. Ancient samples, dating back millions of years. Ambassador, I believe this weapon was created by a precursor species that once lived in this galaxy. The architects, Kira whispered. The legends speak of them. a species that vanished before the first galactic civilizations arose. Dr. Chen nodded. Our xenorchaeologists have found evidence of them on dozens of worlds. They were incredibly advanced, but they also appear to have been paranoid about other species developing too much power. We think they created biological weapons designed to activate if any species became too dominant. But why now? Zeth asked. The Krillian Empire has existed for 5,000 years. Population threshold, Dr. Webb said simply. The weapon was designed to activate when your species reached a certain level of expansion and influence. You've grown too large, too powerful. The weapon woke up. The implications were staggering. Zeth stared at the human scientists, his mind reeling. Then we are doomed. If this was created by beings far more advanced than even us. Not necessarily. Dr. Chen interrupted. You see, the architects made one critical error in their design. They based the weapon on their understanding of biology from millions of years ago. But life evolves, and some species evolve in ways that the architects never anticipated. The human solution. The Joint Research Facility, established on Station Alpha, buzzed with activity unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human and Krillian scientists worked side by side, their different approaches to science creating a synergy that surprised everyone involved. Where Krillian science was elegant and intuitive, human science was brute force and systematic. Where humans saw problems, Krillians saw patterns. Where Krillians saw impossibilities, humans saw challenges. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the main laboratory, watching Dr. Marcus Webb work alongside researcher Vren, one of the few Krillians whose condition hadn't progressed to complete crystallization. Vren's form was partially locked. His torso had become crystalline blue, but his arms could still shift and flow as he manipulated the biotechnology interfaces. The human immune response is remarkable, Vren was saying, his voice carrying harmonics that indicated fascination. Your T-cells don't just adapt to threats, they remember them and create multiple response patterns. It's as if your bodies are constantly preparing for wars that haven't been fought yet. Dr. Webb chuckled as he examined tissue samples under a quantum microscope. That's exactly what they do. Evolution on Earth meant that anything that couldn't adapt quickly died. Our immune systems are basically biological arms races that have been running for millions of years. Across the lab, Dr. Lisa Park was reviewing genetic sequences with Kira, who had volunteered to be the first test subject for the experimental treatment. Both women were bent over holographic displays, showing the complex interaction between human and Krillian DNA. The interesting thing, Dr. Park was explaining, is that your species' genetic flexibility actually makes you more compatible with human genetics than we initially thought. Your shape-shifting ability comes from genetic sequences that can be rewritten in real time. The architect weapon exploits that flexibility to lock you down, but we can use the same flexibility to integrate human adaptive sequences. Kira's crystalline features showed what might have been a smile. So you're saying that our greatest strength, corrupted by the weapon into our greatest weakness, can be restored by integrating with your chaotic genetics. Exactly. Your genetics are like a sophisticated computer that's been infected with a virus. Human genetics are like... Dr. Park paused, searching for the right analogy. Like a shotgun blast, Dr. Webb called from across the lab. Loud, messy, and surprisingly effective. The breakthrough came on the 5th day of intensive research. Dr. Chen was reviewing the latest test results when an alert chimed on her workstation. The computer had found something significant in the latest batch of hybrid genetic sequences. Everyone, come look at this, she called out. The team gathered around her station as she brought up the analysis. The display showed a genetic sequence that was part human, part Krillian, and something entirely new. This is impossible, Vren whispered. The sequence is stable, but it contains genetic information that neither of our species possesses individually. Dr. Park leaned closer, her eyes wide. It's not just stable, it's actively adaptive. Look at these markers. The sequence is designed to recognize and neutralize bioweapons, like the one the architects created. But there's more, Dr. Chen added, highlighting another section of the sequence. The integration with Krillian genetics isn't just preserving your shape-shifting abilities, it's enhancing them. This hybrid sequence should theoretically allow for shape-shifting beyond anything your species has ever achieved. Kira stepped forward, her crystalline form trembling slightly. Are you saying that this treatment won't just cure us, it will make us stronger? That's exactly what we're saying, Dr. Webb confirmed. The human adaptive genetics don't just neutralize the architect weapon. They turn it into a delivery system for genetic enhancement. The first test was scheduled for the following morning. Kira had insisted on being the test subject, despite the risks. As the team prepared the treatment, Ambassador Zeth arrived in the laboratory. His condition had worsened over the past week. His entire torso was now crystallized, and the process was slowly spreading to his limbs. Kira, he said, his voice heavy with concern. You don't have to do this. We can find another volunteer. Kira turned to face him, her partially crystallized features set with determination. Ambassador, I have watched our people turn to living crystal one by one. I have seen the despair in their eyes as they lose everything that makes them Krillian. If there is a chance, any chance, to save our species, I will take it. Dr. Chen approached with a small device that looked like a combination of human medical technology and Krillian biotechnology. The treatment is administered through direct injection into the nervous system. It will take approximately 6 hours to fully integrate with your genetics. During that time, you may experience significant discomfort as your body adapts to the new genetic sequences. Will it be painful? Kira asked. We don't know, Dr. Chen admitted. Krillian pain responses are different from human ones. But based on our simulations, yes, it will likely be very uncomfortable. Kira nodded. Then let's begin. The injection process took only minutes, but the effects were immediate. Kira's crystalline form began to shimmer, the solid blue crystal starting to flow and shift. Her breathing became rapid and labored as her body began to fight the architect weapon. Neural activity is spiking, Dr. Webb reported from his monitoring station. Her body is recognizing the weapon and beginning to neutralize it. For the first hour, Kira seemed to be in significant distress. Her form shifted between crystal and liquid, sometimes freezing mid-transformation, sometimes flowing so rapidly that she seemed to lose cohesion entirely. The human doctors monitored her vital signs, while the Krillian researchers watched her transformation with fascination and fear. In the second hour, something remarkable happened. Kira's form began to stabilize, but not in any shape that any of them had seen before. She flowed into a configuration that was part humanoid, part crystalline, and part pure energy. Her consciousness remained clear and focused, but her body had become something entirely new. The genetic integration is exceeding all our projections, Dr. Park whispered. She's not just cured, she's evolving in real time. By the fourth hour, Kira had gained voluntary control over her new form. She could shift between solid crystal, liquid metal, and pure energy at will. More remarkably, she seemed to be aware of biological processes around her at a level that even traditional Krillians had never achieved. I can sense the genetic patterns of everyone in this room, she said, her voice now carrying harmonics and frequencies that human ears couldn't detect. I can see the architect weapon in other Krillians like a dark shadow in their genetic code, and I can see how to remove it. The sixth hour brought the final transformation. Kira's form settled into what appeared to be her chosen shape, humanoid, but with flowing patterns of crystal and energy running through her skin like living tattoos. She was recognizably Krillian, but enhanced beyond anything their species had ever achieved. How do you feel? Dr. Chen asked. Kira smiled, and for the first time in months, it was a truly happy expression. I feel alive, more alive than I have ever felt. The weapon is gone, completely neutralized. But more than that, I can feel genetic possibilities that I never imagined. I could become anything, adapt to any environment, survive any threat. Ambassador Zeth stepped forward, his crystalline features showing wonder. "Can you help the others?" "I can do more than help them," Kira replied. "The hybrid genetics aren't just a cure, they're a gift. With Dr. Chen's permission, I'd like to begin treating our people immediately." The mass treatment program began within days. Kira, working with the human medical team, developed a method to quickly produce the hybrid genetic treatment using human volunteers as donors. The process was surprisingly simple. Human blood samples were processed through Krillian biotechnology to extract the adaptive genetic sequences, then combined with neutralizing agents designed to target the architect weapon. The results exceeded everyone's expectations. Not only were infected Krillians cured, but they emerged from the treatment stronger and more adaptable than they had ever been. The enhanced Krillians could survive in environments that would have killed them before, adapt to threats in real time, and even share genetic improvements through their restored telepathic network. Within a month, the Krillian Empire had been transformed. The dying civilization had become something new, a hybrid species that combined the best of Krillian biotechnology with human adaptability. More importantly, they had become immune to any similar bioweapons that might still be hidden throughout the galaxy. Dr. Chen stood once again at the viewing portal of Station Alpha, but this time she wasn't alone. Ambassador Zeth stood beside her, his form no longer locked in crystal, but flowing in patterns of silver and blue that incorporated elements of human genetic structure. "Dr. Chen," he said, "I must ask you something that has been troubling me. Why did your species help us? You could have demanded anything. Technology, territory, resources. Instead, you asked only for partnership." Dr. Chen smiled, her reflection ghostly in the transparent aluminum of the viewport. "Ambassador, humans learned long ago that the universe is a dangerous place. We've survived on our world by working together, by helping each other overcome impossible odds. When we found intelligent life among the stars, we hoped to find allies, not subjects." "But surely you must have considered the advantages you could have gained," Zeth pressed. "Our technology could have made your species the dominant power in the galaxy." "Perhaps," Dr. Chen agreed, "but dominance built on the suffering of others never lasts. Partnership, cooperation, mutual benefit, those create lasting strength. Besides," she added with a grin, "have you seen what we accomplished together? Neither of our species could have achieved this alone." Zeth's form shimmered with what Dr. Chen had learned to recognize as Krillian laughter. "You are correct, of course. The hybrid genetics we now carry are beyond anything either species could have developed independently. We are stronger together than we ever were apart." "And that's just the beginning," Dr. Chen said. "If there are more architect weapons out there, more species under threat, we'll be ready for them. The galaxy is about to discover what happens when Deathworlders and Empire Builders decide to work together." Through the viewport, Earth turned slowly in the void, its chaotic surface hiding the strength that had just transformed an entire galactic civilization. And in the space around it, Krillian ships worked alongside human vessels, two impossible species that had found in each other exactly what they needed to face an impossible universe. The age of human Krillian cooperation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.